Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Bandhul Bansal. He's an entrepreneur and investor, founder of Crewsphere ICP India Hub. Welcome to the show, Bandhul.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
You are welcome to the show, Bandhul. You are welcome to this, our own place. This is the very few times we get to
Right,
talk to, on this platform. Very few times, though. I would like to talk much more from our Indian business community, business people. But this is great. This is such a welcome thing, and that is why it is a special thing to talk to you, Bandhu. So, in terms of about your expertise, you have got so much. You have also written a book. So I'll come to things one by one. Firstly, it's about, because you call yourself a blockchain maximalist. So I understand
right,
that you are quite familiar with that technology. You like that technology. So these are good times.
right,
I don't know if you have investment into this Bitcoin, because Bitcoin prices have been rising, and
right.
and so if you have been following, how do you see this rise? Because in India it is very heavily taxed at the moment, as far as I understand. So tell us,
Yeah,
how do you see
so
this Bitcoin stuff?
okay, so talking about the Bitcoin, I generally feel that Bitcoin is rising, and it touched a low of what, $15,000. Now it's trading at $67,000. $69,000 is all-time high, and we will see it going down, breaking this all-time high very soon. And this is very good thing to see that prices are rising. But again, the financial or the economics part of the Bitcoin is cyclic, right? We have a 4-year cycle. That is, we see 18 months of bull market, and then another 24 to 36 months of bear market, and so on, right? So we have seen 3 or 4 of these cycles by now. So the prices are cyclic, but the one thing that is ever growing is development on the blockchain itself. The numbers of developers are growing from last 10 years consistently, not even a single day. The builders in the space are growing. The transactions in the space are growing heavily, and the people, the institutional support and institutional interest is growing. For example, we see all these companies like Blackstone and everything, bringing and trying to launch their ETS for Bitcoin. So the interest of institutional investor is also growing. So everything is growing. The prices are cyclic. Now we are in the bull market, so everybody is talking about it, and then there will be a bear market, and everybody will say this is a bullshit asset and don't invest in it. I've seen this cycle 3 times now, right? Personally, what I focus more is on the building side. That's why we are empowering entrepreneurs. That's why we are helping entrepreneurs to build in this space rather than just focusing on the price, because price action is a very small part of the blockchain of the Web3 industry in general, right? That we all hear about a lot. So that's my take on the prices. But yeah,
Right,
these are the exciting times on
right,
for the
right,
bottom line.
right. So you can decline if I'm asking this question, but I just want, have you got investment into Bitcoin? How do you manage that? Even if you don't want to say, how would you advise people to look at Bitcoin or any other crypto at this particular point in time, Bandhu?
So I have a very minimalistic investment, right? Not a very major investment, and I've not touched it in last 3 4 years. It's just sitting idle, because again, being a maximalist means that you don't take out your Bitcoin very often, and invest here and there and do gambling with it. So it's there just for my retirement fund. I don't see it. I don't check the prices. I don't do much stuff with it. The thing that I focus on is on the building part, as I've already told you. So yeah, I have a small investment, but again, not a major one. And
Perfect.
advising people about it, Bitcoin is a good asset, but it should not be more than 1 or 2% of your portfolio. If your portfolio is sizably big, then you can allot 1 to 2% of your portfolio size to Bitcoin as a hedge against anything that can go wrong in the economy. Then Bitcoin will rise, because it's the digital gold, and it's the asset class where if everything goes wrong, if everything is coming down, then Bitcoin will rise. in those scenarios. So again, investing 1 to 2% of your portfolio is okay in case of Bitcoin.
Right, right, Bandhul. Now, you are a blockchain maximalist. You are also a staunch advocate of self sovereignty. What does this self sovereignty mean? Because when we talk of blockchain, when we talk of crypto, uh, many a times we feel that uh, blockchains or
Sorry.
crypto is not under any sovereign control. So that's the reason I wanted to understand the concept of sovereignty,
No.
self sovereignty, and blockchain.
Okay. So blockchain is a digital ledger, right? Who nobody controls and everybody has access to it. So no single central authority cannot shut it down, right? That's one part of it. So that's about the blockchain. It's a digital ledger, right? If I have to simplify it to the core, right? Uh, with in a decentralized manner, that is, a lot of people around the globe are in control, and you need all of them to have one consensus to follow any change. So no central authority can decline what the changes are. Now the self sovereignty means that you hold your own assets, but you are in the ownership of it. For example, if you buy gold, right? If you have a gold ring, if you have a gold chain, then you have self custody of that, right? You are in custody of gold and nobody else is. But if you're buying digital gold, or if you're buying gold on a platform, then the platform holds, at least on paper, the platform holds the gold for you. Then you are not in direct control of the asset itself. In Bitcoin, if you keep your Bitcoin on the exchanges, then exchanges are in control of your Bitcoin. Then you don't have self custody. If you have your own private keys, then it's self custody and it's sitting in your wallet. So you can have a software wallet that we call hot wallet, or you can have a cold wallet that is a hardware wallet. So you can have all of these things. So again, this is about this. And then the sovereign asset class means that you can sell an asset class globally. It's it's not bounded by the region. For example, if you have INR, the INR is valuable is within the boundaries of India, right? If you have maybe dirham, then they are viable in the boundaries of UAE or Dubai probably. So now, but if you have gold, then it's a sovereign asset. Then you can sell it in India, in Dubai, in US, in Vietnam, in Africa, in North America, Cyprus, wherever you go, right? So you have all these options with the sovereign asset. Same is the case with Bitcoin. It's a sovereign asset that is particularly means that you can sell it wherever you want, in wherever country you are at. So you don't have to rely on one country or one geographical boundary to do it. So there are three factors to it. Let me summarize again. Blockchain, which is a digital ledger that nobody can control, uh, or everybody is in control, so no central authority can attack it. The second thing is self custody. That is, the custody is in your hand, like we have for gold. Then it's a sovereign asset class. That is, it is accepted globally and it do not have a geographical boundary to it. So that is all of this means.
Right, right, Bandhul. Well explained. Now, how do you look at this trend, future trend for Bitcoin or crypto going forward? Because there have been lots of negative reports sometime till some time back. Now, do you think the good times for crypto will continue to stay, or again it will be something else? How should people? You are an investor. You put in a lot of money into Web3 companies, into all these sort of you are an angel investor. So how do you look at these sort of investments as of today? What is, are you bullish on it? Do you look people should be very careful about it? Because even though they may give good returns, we just don't know how the future may pan out when any other scam or scandal comes out. Also in India, it is quite well taxed. So how do you look that part of it? Would you want it to be lower, or is it the right way to look at things by the government?
So you always want tax to be lower. So let me start with your last question that it's heavily taxed, and how do you, and for every investor like who's putting in money, every investor wants to keep the chunk of profits with them. So the taxation is okay. The taxation should be there, but the taxation should be legit enough so that we can, the ecosystem can thrive in India. So that's one of the concerns that I have. That I don't have anything against taxation as of now, but again, the taxation should be in a fashion that the industry can thrive within that taxation regime. So that's my take on taxation. The other part that I want to talk about is how risky or how not risky is it. One thing that I would agree upon is this: there are a lot of scams that are going around in the country in the name of Bitcoin, and you will see a lot of bad actors taking advantage of this. So you should be very aware. You should follow right influencers. You should get in touch with the community. For example, we run our own community on Telegram. You can join it if you are if you get to know about a scheme, you can just post the scheme there, and then we will authenticate that whether this sounds authentic or this is a probable scam, right? So a lot of people can tell you this. Why we can tell this? Because we are in this industry for last 9 years, right? So we understand. I agree there are a lot of scams, but we understand that, for example, I have never fell into a scam because, again, I understand that what are the scams and what are the legit people in the space. For the investment thesis also, we always see the history that, okay, this person is working in this company before and we know the founder, then we'll get in touch that, okay, this is the new founder and he's asking for money. Should we invest or not, right? Whether this sounds like a legit person or not. And all of these things will happen. So again, these things will always help you out in various aspects if you are mentally aware of this. If you have access to the information. If you don't have the access to information, for example, I am fortunate or I am lucky that I have access to the information in this particular space. But if you don't have access to information, then you join these DAOs and communities, and you can go there and just ask your questions. That, okay, I have this query. Should I go forward with this? Should I go ahead with this investment or not? And they'll help you out. And the people are generally very helpful in the community. So you should adopt a right approach. And if you're adopting a right approach, then automatically your risk will be hedged. One thing more, if you are new to this market, always invest in top 20, 30 coins, right? Majority of your portfolio should be in the Bitcoin. If you find Bitcoin fees to be very high, then you can use a technology called CKBTC that we have in ICB. It's just Bitcoin, but the fees will be very lower. So you can have all this technology, and I can guide you with this if you want, and then you can join our community, and then we'll help you out there. So that's the agenda of all of these things.
Right, right, Bandhul. Now, from Bitcoin, let's move on to entrepreneurship. If you have a lot of experience, not just in Bitcoin, but blockchain, but also apparels, FMCG, customer service, and D2C experience you have got. So, in that aspect, how do you see entrepreneurship today? Almost like, nowadays, in many cases, when people talk of entrepreneurship, they always, many a times, they talk of automating everything, getting things done on computer, very less talk of going down on the ground and building things up. So is it entrepreneurship all about, just only about artificial intelligence, only about, or you need to dirty your hands on the ground, build things up? Yes, you use all the modern things that you have in hand. How do you look at that? What would you like to
So
tell, especially young entrepreneurs, in terms of entrepreneurship? How do you see it? Because a lot of people, the traditional way we have seen is that people have been sitting in their places, going out, meeting customers, talking to them, listening about them, coming out, solving their problems. Even if they could afford to call them, they would go and meet them. Help us understand at this aspect of entrepreneurship and the modern times we are looking at.
So you raised a very important question. Now, it totally depends upon the industry that you're working. If you're working in D2C, then you have to look at the supply chain and you have to look at the logistics part of it. Then you have to go on the ground, and then you have to, make your hands dirty, and then you have to build a network for it. If you are running a apparel business, then you have to go on the ground. If you are running a food chain, then you have to go on the ground. But if you are building a purely technological product or a tech product, then the AI and all the software, then the ideation matters more. Your idea and the problem that you are solving and your philosophy towards solving that problem matters the most in that entrepreneurship aspect. So obviously, it's very conditional. If you are building a D2C brand and then you are just saying that I want to sit in the AC office, I want to solve everything from here, not going to happen. If you're building a food chain and you want this, not going to happen. But if you are building a SaaS product, then it will happen. If you're building a DApp or decentralized application or blockchain product, then it might happen. And certainly the entrepreneurship is a bit easier these days because there are a lot of tools that automate a lot of things, as you've already told you. And it's a good thing for the entrepreneurs. And secondly, the access to capital is very good. For example, I am starting my own incubator. If you have any entrepreneurs or some entrepreneurs are listening this podcast, do reach out to me. We are started our own incubator where we are helping entrepreneurs with the network, with the money. We are giving them grants also. We are investing money as well. Then we are helping them with the classes, with the lectures, and with everything. And we are helping them with all sort of things. So to do it, we are running this program where we are inviting all these experts in the field, and they will help you and they'll teach you out. Then we will invest money as well, and then we give you the whole roadmap to success. So it's called incubator. And this is a very new concept, right? Back in 2014, at least we didn't have access to all these incubators because it was for the elite of the elites, right? Now everybody have there are so many incubators out there that you can enroll in any one of them and get money and get investment and kickstart your journey. Even if you're not a techie, then we can mix match you with some technical folks as well if you have that entrepreneurial spirit, and we can help you out with everything. So the idea is very clear here that if you have will to do something, then the roadmap is better for entrepreneurship as it was 10 years back.
Right, Bandhul. You talked about, technology-based thing, but you see, even I would like to understand your mind on this is that, say, even in restaurant business, food chain, there is this concept of cloud kitchen. Good, I do not have any
Yeah.
personal problem with that. But many a times, what happens is that someone opens five different restaurants in nearby locations, and you call
Right.
something called
From
very innovative as cloud kitchen, whereas I order as a customer from all these different places believing that I will get five different food experience. How do you see this part of being technology being employed? There is no right or wrong about it depending on it, but as a customer, if I'm looking at five different places, I would like to be very upfrontly told that listen, these are the same thing, you will get the same taste, it's coming from one single place. How do you look at this part
yeah.
of the traditional business and using of technology from a customer's point of view?
So the biggest company in this space of cloud kitchens is Rebel Foods, right? Baru's Biryani and Fasos and all these are their brands. So they operate 20 brands from the same kitchen, as you have already told me. It's a $1 billion plus company. But the good thing is now they have different branding, they have different taste, and they have different cuisines in these 20 brands. So the Rebel Foods is doing great, and they are like doing exceptional work, managing 20 brands from single kitchen, and they have like the largest number of food outlets in the world. They have bypassed McDonald's also recently. It's an Indian company, right? Now, why they are doing it? Because again, since if you want to order something, now since I know that these are operating from the same kitchen, if I have a hygiene issue from one of them, then I won't order from any of the other outlets. It's one of the negatives. But for the taste wise, the technology and the supply chain is efficient enough that if done properly, then you can have separate taste or separate brands operating from the same kitchen also. Because again, it's how you use the technology. For example, Revel is doing great, they are doing wonderful job, and so they are using technology efficiently. If you're not using efficiently, then there can be a big goof up. Then all of your dishes, all of your brands will taste the same, all of your will have same packaging, all of your brands will have same vibe, and that will be quite frustrating for you. So technology is a double-edged sword. If you are using it appropriately, then it will increase your efficiency, productivity, and the overall output of the ecosystem. But if you are unable to use it properly, then it can have a bigger goof ups than the traditional systems. So again, you have to learn and implement technology wherever required. Don't just implement technology just for the sake of it, that I want to integrate technology, let's integrate the technology. You should integrate the technology because it's required there.
Right, Bandhul. That is where I wanted to, bring on home this point, because if you are, going for standardization like McDonald's has, then you will know, okay, whichever store you buy, you will almost get the same product. But if you are
Yeah.
going for different brands, then that leads to a lot of, confusion, and a lot of people think that this can be done. You just, get into the market, open several brands in the same different names, and it can be done just in one thing. So use of
Right.
traditional business systems, but with the automation and all these modern technologies. Be that as it may, now that we know, a lot of people nowadays know, they are much more smarter. So this whole debate is getting less by less, but more and
Yeah.
more people are getting aware. So in terms of, in terms of entrepreneurship, how do you look at the trend? Which is the best sector today to be in? Purely technology based, purely ground based? How do you look at, if someone were to ask,
No,
or if
so
I were to ask you, Bandul, I want to get into a certain sort of a business, tell me which sector should I enter into? What do you want to say?
So I believe that these two will coexist always. For example, health tech is something that I'm very excited about. So health tech is something that will grow in the Web 2 space, and there's a lot of work to be done on the ground as well for the health tech sector. But if you are a person who understands technology or who wants to get into something, then the blockchain can be the best sector for you because it's a hyper growing stage. AI also doing good, but AI is a big man's play, right? You have to get access to a lot of data and all the other things to build a sustainable business in AI. Otherwise, you have to rely on all these centralized institutions like OpenAI, Google, or Meta for their APIs to build your own company, and they can shut you down tomorrow if they want. But in blockchain, the ecosystem is very good. So, for me, if you want to do a technology business, then blockchain can be a good solution. If you want to do a non-tech business, then uh, medtech can be something, or health tech can be something that is very exciting to me.
Right. Now let's come down to investing. People want to invest and in different, but a bigger belief that has come is, that you work hard, you will not earn for life, but if your money works for you, you will continue to sit back and enjoy your life. How do you
Right.
calibrate both these things when you are very young? You want to earn some quick money, put money into something,
Right.
and sit back and relax. How do you look at this part of investing,
So,
especially when you are very young? Because a lot of people are into this creator economy. It has its good things, not so good things. We don't know where this is
right.
going, though there are great voices about it. But then this is so much, it leaves you at the mercy of just a few players. So how would you advise
Right.
people to look at investing? Let your money earn for you, but you also get down on the ground and earn money, that you can certainly do so. How do you look at this?
So again, the active income and the passive income, I believe both of these are important. If you have a big corpus sitting in your bank and giving you money for your expenditures and everything, then also you have to spend your time. How will how many leisure activities will you do? How many vacations will you have? Ultimately, you have to find a passion project for yourself. It might or might not earn you money. If it earns money, then it's good, right? But at one stage of the time, then you will be able to most of the people has this tendency to monetize your passions, right? If you want to do it, then you have to think of something. Then if you have to ultimately do it post your retirement or post your fire number also, why don't you start do it in the beginning itself? So find your passion, work in it, and then your active income and the passive income will be sorted. But again, on this contrary part that you talked about the creator economy is doing good, and we are seeing a lot of creators. But again, as you have mentioned that you are on mercy of few players, it's a reality that you are on a mercy of few players. But again, you have to be very cautious once you look at the platform. For example, a lot of new platforms are coming up from the blockchain space also, from the tech space also, that are uh, that works in the similar fashion, but again that gives you more power, and then now you are not at the mercy of someone because there is a no centralized institution who's running that platform, right? And nobody can stop you, nobody can censor you, nobody can stop you. So again, all of these solutions will come, and the creator economy is going good. And I believe the ultimate solution of the creator economy will come from our sector, because we have the technologies that can be decentralized enough, and the creators can create their own communities with the DAOs, or they can have their own incentive, or leadership programs via NFTs and all these things. So all of these things will come into a play, and the creator economy can be sorted by a blockchain startup only. It cannot be stopped. It cannot be solved by a Web2 company, because again, they are very focused on their own profits. Be it Meta, be it Google, be it Amazon, nobody will be able to solve these issues.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, talking of investing, you talk about blockchain, you talk about modern technology, you talk about putting money into new age firms, as an angel investor. But in terms of a book, you talk about the 44 Vedic wealth hacks. Tell us about this, your book. Why do you go into
So
wealth creation and Vedic sort of a wealth
yeah,
hacks?
so basically, it's not a hack. Is just the name that we came up with. The idea of the book is I'm very spiritual, and I am moved with our Indian values a lot, right? And I see Indian values everywhere. So what we did is, me and my co-founder Deepak Goyal, we used to discuss about entrepreneurs a lot, right? Because again, that's how you get the inspiration, that's how you feel motivated, and that's how you get the information. So every time we used to discuss one entrepreneur who has built one startup in the country. And then we used to discuss one Vedic philosophical aspect associated with it. That, okay, how Ritesh Agrawal, who is the founder of Oyo Hotels in India, must have used Atiti Devo Bhava in the Indian context, right? And what would be his philosophy around this, right? And how he incorporated that, how that philosophy is lighting up his company. And then we wrote that chapter discussing about the entrepreneur, his journey, and a Vedic concept that he might have used in his journey, and he might have believed it looking at his actions or his interviews. So that was the philosophy. It's a very fun way, and it's an async book. That is, you can read it from wherever you want. You don't have to start from the first chapter and then end. So the content of the book is such that the book will have emotions. So whatsoever emotion you are feeling, you should get to that emotion and read about that emotion. You will feel good about that emotion, or you will understand what you can do in this emotion, or what the entrepreneur would have done in that emotion. So it's a very different kind of a book.
Wonderful, wonderful. There is much to learn from you about entrepreneurship, about emerging technology, about investing, and also a lot from to learn from your book. So, what is the best way for people to get the best out of you, Bandhul?
So they can reach me out on Telegram, LinkedIn or Twitter. LinkedIn and Twitter is something that where I'm most active on. And then you can just go to our community. It's on Telegram. It's called Crewsphere India Hub, and then you can join that community, and we'll be able to help you out in every possible way.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me. It was pleasure talking to you. I had great fun, and we had like a very uh, enriching conversation, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you for all the support that you did.
Take care.